Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Gemini. If Gemini is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right. Let's see what these leaves have for you, Gemini. Okay. I hope you all are doing well. I hope that you are having a very nice January. If you are watching this in January, you might be somewhere in the future, traveling back in time watching this. Okay, so I like to hold this out to see, but the first thing I see, and I have to just say something about it because it is kind of, it's like almost silly but kind of scary looking, you know. This one looks like just a monster. It almost reminds me of like Belschnickel or Krampus or one of those I guess like Germanic monstery. And here goes the cat. Here comes my little monster, my little kitty cat. One of those kinds of just like hairy, kind of scary with the little horns, but almost kind of like comical because it's so weird. Like, what's the word? Not macabre, but kind of just like bizarre, like absurd. Maybe absurd. I don't know. But we have this big one, okay? And this resonates with me totally because my kid is gonna be 3 soon, but she's super going through a phase of like thinking there are monsters because we like to play hide and seek, and she loves to be scared, and like she likes to play you know, I don't know, just like tag and stuff, and sometimes we'll be like you know, it's scary. Not like because she asked for it though. I'm not like a person that likes to just scare people for no reason, because I get like jumpy really easily. But so now we have like that, we're going through that starting to fear the dark a little bit more, and to thinking like there are things, you know, in the house or under the bed or, you know, that kind of stuff. So there's this real shift towards this consciousness of you know, the unknown, like those, like just the creepy vibes, or, you know, just like a looming sense of ominous kind of energy. And I think well, and this is funny too, because my daughter is a Gemini, solar Gemini. So maybe this reading is partially for her. But I think that there's just a sense of something going on that really is getting you into that position of feeling like you're not sure what's going to happen. It could, you know, you feel like there's, it's just that feeling like you have some of the information, but not everything. And you just have that kind of like itch in your mind that like, this could be bad. Like, this could be, you know, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's like, it's a little bit scary. Okay. And I want to turn this. I want to see if we can get any clarity from looking at that same formation, because sometimes these formations, and this is what I like to do anyways, is when I see something on one angle and I turn it and it looks different on the other, it gives it sometimes a more details of the scenario, more details of maybe the person involved, a different perspective, or maybe an outcome. Okay. And what am I seeing? I want to look at this on both. here and there. And it kind of just looks like a, it looks like a creepy being on all sides. This one kind of looks more like a bird, right? Like the body and these weird legs. And I always think of like these Bosch characters. If you know who that is, or if you don't, go look up his paintings. It's B-O-S-C-H, Bosch. And they're very weird, surreal, little characters in his painting. And there's tons of them. They're so detailed and they're so busy, all of the different paintings. And if you look at any of them, really, you'll see kind of what I mean. And I think the one is like, I think the real famous one, it's maybe called the Garden of Delight, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm so bad with the titles of things. I am a huge art obsessive. I love art so much, but I'm so bad at remembering names and titles. I just kind of know the styles and the paintings that I like. And sometimes when I'm trying to find them, you would laugh at the way that I like have to describe them to Google to find. Okay, so anyways, we have this feeling, it doesn't feel good, but I want to find out what's happening here, okay? Right next to this, we have a K. Okay, so this is something in that mental, psychic area. I think that this is somebody who's been on your mind. This is their first name, maybe. It could be a descriptive word, but I think it might be somebody with a K name, okay? And let me look around a little bit more here. We have some other interesting ones, but okay, so we have kind of a little story going on over here on the side, and I want to get over here and kind of look at that. So let's kind of turn it this way first. Yeah, it kind of looks like two. It's interesting. Okay, so we have almost like a horse, right? And let me make sure I'm getting this right. I'm looking at it with my naked eye, and I have to look at it in the viewer thing because I will totally get out of frame. If you watch my first videos, it was so bad. I was so terrible at keeping this thing anywhere near the camera. Okay, so this horse, okay, and it looks like it's kind of in a tug-of-war with, and this to me looks like a turkey, like with the kind of, you know, I was gonna say bald head, but that's like a vulture. But it looks like a turkey with the big body and kind of the little head. And it looks like it's standing on something. Maybe it looks like almost like it's standing on the rein of this horse. Okay. And right above this horse, we have a V. And this is kind of in that spiritual. And let me see if I can get this kind of turned, this light, so I can kind of see. Yeah, so we have this kind of V right here in the spiritual zone right above the horse, okay? So I think that this is maybe the name of somebody who's passed. Maybe it is like a personal deity, a guardian angel, a word that you use as a mantra, or that is revealing itself through like synchronicity, something like that. Okay, so the horse. This looks like a horse that is kind of like saddled up, has its, excuse me, has its reins on. So this is a working horse. This is, it symbolizes somebody who is working a lot, who's strong, very dedicated, you know, is just really highly focused on what they're doing, has the wild spirit, of course, that can never be broken, but also the ability to, you know, stay with their mind on whatever task they're doing. Okay. So this is definitely like a more domesticated animal. Now, it's being kind of pulled or in a tug of war with this turkey. The turkey to me, I love turkeys. I'm scared of them though, like wild turkeys. I don't know if you all have turkeys in your neighborhood or in the area, if you've ever encountered them, but they are so aggressive. And when you get like a little group of them, I don't even know what their little flock is called. Maybe it's called a flock. I don't know. But I remember when I was in school, like high school, junior high school, and I'm short. I'm like, just a little bit over 5 foot. And I was even shorter then. So these turkeys are like half my size. They're intimidating. They're mean. And they'll chase you. And I'd be walking home and I would go down a street and then there'd be just like this group of turkeys on somebody's lawn or whatever. And I was like, oh my goodness, I hope they don't see me because they're going to try to attack me. Right. So I always think of that feeling of really like almost like looking around the corner to make sure that this like, highly aggressive, wild, unpredictable, but you can almost predict that they're going to be aggressive with you, right? So I feel like when I see a turkey, especially because of the way that it is, it looks like it's just like about to attack, right? They're very protective though. On the other side, you think about it, they're protective of their family. They become unreasonable because they're trying to posture enough to keep them and their family safe. Okay, or the things that they care about safe. Now that might be misguided, right? It might be an overreaction, but we also know when we think about it that it's probably because they're coming from a place of feeling vulnerable, maybe some kind of weakness or, at some point they were unable to protect themselves. And so now there's these overreactions that happen. So I feel like I get this like feeling of two people in a relationship and one is just focused on working, getting things done for the family, just moseying along, doing all the things they need to do, but they keep butting heads with their partner. Right? Or maybe it's somebody else in the family. Maybe it's their child, doesn't listen, raises their voice, throws fits, tantrums. Maybe that is, maybe that's a learned thing. Maybe that is something that is out of their control. They can't control the impulses, whatever it is. Or somebody you work with, right? That could coincide with this, the working kind of theme, but like they're trying to pull you in their direction, but it's just chaotic. And it's like in such a way that is like so repellent, but they're grabbing you by the lead and they're trying to force you to come their way, to come into their thinking. There's no finessing in the situation. It's just all brute force. It's all emotional, all mental games, and just these over the top kind of arguments, fights, and it feels so amplified, volatile. That's kind of the feeling I get. Maybe that's what that V is. It's a V for volatile. Now I see next to it this bird, okay? And the bird looks like it's flying, kind of flat or getting ready to go. And I think that ties into your thinking, to how you're feeling right now. You just want to get out of this situation. You don't know necessarily how to because this person has you by that lead. You're tied to them in some way. They have some kind of control over you or perceived control, or authority, possibly somebody at work that's like, in administration, management. Maybe this is, like I said, a relationship. Maybe you're married. Maybe you're trying to go through a divorce process and you're just trying to walk on eggshells until you can get out of there. But there's really this this real intense feeling of wanting to break free, to fly away, to get out of this situation. You know, and I feel like you have known, but you're really coming to this deep understanding that it is not going to work out. This is not going to work for you. This is not the situation, environment, or dynamic that you are willing to put up with anymore. And you are tired of daydreaming about this kind of release and you know, freeing yourself of this thing. And you know, it needs to come to reality. It needs to be a reality. You need to kind of start planning, okay? And you know, in some of the like parenting and mother groups that I'm in, I've become way more aware of this. These things that men and women have to do to get out of abusive relationships. And, you know, a lot of people in life, when you witness somebody in a situation that you yourself think, I would never put up with that. I can't even imagine. Like, how do you stay with somebody like that? You know, they're hurting you. They're hurting your kids. They're, you know, whatever. How do you stay in that place, right? But a lot of times it's because they've been cut off, they've been alienated, they have what's called a financial abuse going on, so they don't have the money or means or availability of credit or even things in their own name. Their partners have kind of gone, like, systematically cut them off from being able to leave. That also happens emotionally. It could be physically. They could literally just be out in the middle of nowhere or move to a place where they don't know anybody. Or, you know, they hold things over your head that you can't have your kids if you leave, or, you know, I'm gonna ruin your life. Whatever, it could be terrible. So, now, this applies to these are things that I've learned about these kinds of situations through my reading. You know, I see these posts sometimes and I just kind of read. I read what other people who are really learned in these kind of exit plans, the idea of creating an exit plan and how to do that more covertly and safely. So, because unfortunately, especially when it is a domestic relationship, a marriage, two people that have children together, people that live together that are dating, or maybe you're just dating and they're very controlling and they show up at your house or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that this has to be any of those situations. This could be any kind of relationship, work, family, whatever, friends or roommates, something like that, where there's some amount of shared resources or like a power dynamic happening and that somebody is abusing it in some way. Okay. So there are exit plans that you put together to kind of get out of these situations. And I don't want you to take this as advice. If this is the situation that you are in, if you are being abused or somebody that you know is being abused or, stalked, any kind of dangerous situation, of course, I cannot give you good advice. I'm not qualified. I'm not, in any kind of law enforcement. I'm not a trained not a trained professional, and I'm not, like a counselor, therapist, social worker, anything like that. I'm not qualified for any of that stuff. Okay. But there are places, and I want to just mention this, there are places to go. You can call non-emergency, non-emergency police or battered people's shelters, social workers in your county or state, places online, and If you cannot get a hold of anybody because you are being monitored or anything like that, when you go to the doctor, if you can get to a doctor or some kind of professional that are mandated reporters, okay, they have ways that you can let them know. And I'm not, I don't exactly know how that works, but I know like when you go to a doctor, especially if it's like a family doctor, they have like in the restrooms instructions how to let them know that you need help, that you're being abused, okay? And they can't tell anybody about that. They can't tell your partner about that. And so please be safe. Please, don't do anything that will get you hurt. But if you're in that situation, I want you to know that you're cared for, you're loved, and you deserve to be, living a healthy life, not being afraid, not being afraid of being hurt and all of that. Okay. And I'm sorry the state took a serious turn, but I just really, I'm thinking about all of these people I've known in my life or just, on the internet, things that I'm reading, and it's so prevalent, especially because of the time of year. It gets so much worse when we have extreme temperatures. So if it's really cold or it's really hot, and that's just part of our human makeup. We become irrational in these times. And when you're stuck inside with people for long periods of time, things can get more unhealthy than they already are. Okay, so I want you to seek help if that's what you need. Now, if this is a situation where you are trying to get free of this stuff, and it's not the abuse, right? But it's difficult. Okay, so I think you should start making plans about, how do you want to exit this? How are you going to save for that? Do you need to apply for other jobs if you're leaving your job? Update your resume. Make some lists about like what would you like to do? Maybe get some further education so you can go into a different field if that's what you want. Or if you're breaking up, I mean, that's difficult, especially if it's somebody you're living with. So there are a lot of things that, making sure that you've saved money that's in your own name, and starting to plan on how you're going to, where you're going to move out, make sure you have support system, these kinds of things. And I'm not going to go through the list of exact, and I started to think about, like, I don't want to give advice about that exactly, because if I misspeak, I don't want to put anybody in harm's way. But I think that thinking about how you're going to make an exit plan, because you've been thinking about that a lot. Okay. And that's important. It's important to have your ducks in a row, so to speak, before you make a big move like that. Okay. Especially if you have a lot of things I mean, the older we get, the more tied into people we get, and the more things we have, houses, bills, responsibilities. And so you have to think about that stuff before you just kind of, I don't know. Don't we all, even in the best relationships, and, I love my husband so much. I really do. He's amazing. But, we all kind of like daydream about when we were carefree and could just move about how we wanted and didn't have to answer to anybody. It's sometimes okay to indulge in that thinking, but I would really tell you, if you have that impulse, I would go a little slower and make some plans, really think about what you can do, to make it smooth, make it fair. And again, if there's something more going on, if this is an abuse situation or anything like that, please seek help. There's also, and I've mentioned it before, there is that mental in America, anyhow, there is that mental health crisis line, and I'm sure they also deal in, issues of abuse and such. That number is 988. Okay. And that's a direct way to get resources and help. Okay. Sorry that had to get so kind of real there for a second. Now I wanted to look at this dog. It looks like a dog, right? With the head and kind of the long body. Then I see this kind of cute little, it looks like a little fairy, like a fae. And then I see, I see this little, it looks like a dog too. And let's get this. Okay, there we go. A little dog. It has a backpack on, and it looks like it's almost like on a like a skateboard or some kind of something. It's like kicking its foot back. I think of a skateboard pushing forward, right? Okay. So I think that this is just really this. I feel like you have people in your life who are very loyal to you. If not people, maybe it's just one person, okay? Your best friend, your mom, your, whatever, your mentor, somebody who really has known you and it will show up for you. And I feel like this, when I see a dog like this, especially in this kind of nice posture, kind of having your back, I think that this is somebody that you can really rely on. They're going to really help you through this. I think, definitely activating your support system here is a big deal. This will help you get through this feeling where we had this kind of monster, the boogeyman kind of vibe over here. That, I think, talking about these things, how you're feeling, what your dreams are, maybe what some of your plans are. If this is a person that will not, give away your information or gossip about what's going on. This is your, somebody that you're confidant, somebody that you can really trust. I think it's really important for you to go ahead and talk to them. Now, if you can have a therapist or a counselor, something like that, that's also a good person to talk to because they literally cannot tell anybody, right? So they're bound by law not to give up your secrets. Now, and I also get this kind of feeling that as you are getting more and more confident and these kind of the mysteries, the veil is being lifted. You're not as scared about the moves you're going to be making. You just have this lightness. I think of Tinkerbell, the little kind of magic, like dust flying around, little wings flittering, just feeling a lightness of life, magical, getting back to that glow, doing the things that you love, not having to worry about, how you're going to affect this other person. What are they going to think? How are they going to react? No more tiptoeing around, looking around the corner, that kind of thing. I think that, and then I see definitely this, like, just full force forward, skating forward, just going, wind in your hair, enjoying yourself, being relieved of this situation. Right. And I'm hoping that this is something that's more along the lines of like that work life we were talking about. Somebody who, is important to your life where you're making money, but they don't have, a big position in your personal life. Okay. That's what fingers crossed. That's what it is. Okay. And then I'm seeing that by this K, there looks like there's this fish. So I'm wondering if this K person is maybe a Pisces or some kind of water sign. Okay. And it looks like they're almost jumping up here from this mental area into the spiritual area. So I think whatever your dealings with them are, This is going to become deep interpersonal work for you. And I think that this is also very much about employing some of those techniques, some of the, communication skills that you've learned. Also leaning on that spiritual side, prayer, meditation, moving your body, if you keep an altar, maybe making some offerings, doing some rituals, whatever is applicable to what you have going on and whatever your intentions are. Okay. I also wanted to share this little F over here with you. I think definitely there's there's an F word in the mix. I don't know what that word is. I don't know if this is a person or if this is a word that keeps coming up for you that's like kind of a synchronicity or just something that you're thinking in your head. If you're stressed out and scared and, you feel like you're just constantly being tested, I can think of a word that might be on your mind. But I also wanted to bring this up here and show you this beautiful card. This is from the Carnival at the End of the World deck. And this is the Hermit. I feel like this is very much about illuminating that kind of unknown, doing some of that self-work, really, really planning on how you're going to, what your path is going to be, using that knowledge you have so you can illuminate all of those scary corners, the bushes that look like some kind of monster that's coming out of nowhere. Once you see what things really are, they're not as scary, okay? And you can feel more confident in your decision making. So I think just doing that work and also talking through it, making those plans as we talked about. And let's see. Okay, so here I have a beautiful formation of the goddess with the arms out and the beautiful body, and we have the triad, the triple goddess energy. I feel like you are being held, loved universally from that divine trinity of feminine knowledge, the virginal goddess, the mother goddess, and the crone, the older woman. So just that beautiful actualization of wisdom from the beginning of the birthing stages through the collection of knowledge and transmutation into the wisdom and really the becoming, okay, the metamorphosis that we all go through throughout our lives. Okay, and the mini micro metamorphoses that we go through. That sounds very silly saying that out loud. But I think that, you're just really so loved, so cared for. The universe is looking out for you. Take your time. We also have this beautiful little bird figure up here that makes me think that somebody is looking out for you. Maybe somebody who has passed in your life, somebody important, a grandparent, a mother, father, maybe aunt and uncle, or aunt or uncle, a mentor, something like that. Somebody who really always had you in the front of their mind, in your best interest, always at heart and in mind, okay? And they're supporting you and letting you know that things are going to be okay, all right? And it might take some time, but you are not alone in this journey. Although we have the Hermit, that doesn't mean you're alone, okay? I think that the Hermit for me is more about that fortification of self, of learning to be okay in your own decision making and knowing yourself, and through all of the processes and integrations that you have to go through to get to that point of really actualization of self and being, you know, there's this beautiful illumination of those unknown places, of walking in and through those dark nights of the soul, through the, you know, the valleys, the Saturnine valleys, the places that don't feel great to be in, but you become so strong in those journeys, okay? And you become so much yourself in those journeys. And that's really what that Hermit is for me. Yeah, so I think that's the message we have. And I'm sorry it took kind of a sad tone, or, you know, upsetting tone at points. But these are things we have to talk about. I don't like to shy away from them. You know, I'm not an expert, so I can't give the greatest advice, but just as a human being who has known people who've gone through things, and I've gone through my own situations with different kinds of, you know, abuse and hardships and, you know, so on. So I'm not a stranger to it, but I think it's something that we need to talk about. And, you know, when it appears to me in my readings, I'm not gonna, you know, shy away from it. But I always hope that I'm wrong. And I hope that, you know, if there is some truth to that just this little message will help you know that you are not alone, and the universe is looking out for you, okay? And we love you. We do. You are very loved, okay? All right. So I thank you so much for spending your time with me, allowing me to bring this message to you. I'm always so honored. If you would be so kind, please like the video. That helps me get into the algorithm. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do that. And if you want to hit the little notification bell, then you will know when more videos come out, which one comes out every day. So you can watch your different placements too. Please leave a comment. Let me know what resonates with you. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's going on with you. I love hearing from each and every one of you. It really is so special to me, honestly. Okay. So I thank you. I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is there. Gemini, I love you very much. I have such a soft spot in my heart now for Geminis, especially because I'm raising one. That could be it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.